Hello, everyone, and welcome. Does it start for you?
It did start.
Okay, mine froze a little bit there. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 17 of the Half Brothers podcast. My name is Jacob,
My name is Glenn.
and as you can tell by the name of the podcast, the title on all the videos, we are in fact half brothers. If you don't know what that is, Google it, look it up. I don't got time to tell you. But yeah, today we don't have anything to talk about, so I hope you enjoyed episode 17, and we will see you next week.
Have a good one. It's been great, folks.
But no, we actually don't have anything to talk about. So, I was meeting with my pastor one time. I think I told you this. I don't know if I did, so we'll find out. But I was meeting him with him one time, telling him about how we do a podcast and whatnot. And he was like, so like, what makes it a podcast? Like, how is it not just like a weekly FaceTime call? And I was like, that's basically what it is. So that's basically what today's episode is going to be. It's just a weekly little catch up with me and Glenn. We don't have a set topic for today. If you didn't check out the last episode, definitely go check that one out. And then while you're navigating through the YouTube, hit subscribe while you're down there. But yeah, so we had our first guest on last time. It actually went pretty well. It took us about 30 minutes to be able to start shooting the podcast, but after that, went really well. I thought it went super smooth. I was glad that he talked a lot. That's what I was kind of worried, like, oh, maybe he's just gonna like make us interview him. But I mean, obviously, like, he was super comfortable. So like, probably perfect first guest to have on.
Perfect first guess for
Yeah.
sure. And he does it. He also used to have a pretty good podcast, so I think he's got the skills down already. And but yeah, man, it was really fun, and I can't wait to show you his actual man cave with the collection and everything. Which
Yeah.
big shout out to Joey over at the Collectors Cartel. If you missed it, give it a listen and give him a follow on Instagram and TikTok because the man has nostalgia for days. It will unlock memories that you forgot about, but they're deep in your brain
Yeah.
somewhere. So yeah, I had a great time, and he loved it, and yeah, it was a lot of fun, Jacob.
Yeah, it was a good time. And again, yeah, like so I was a little worried that maybe he wouldn't talk because, like, I don't know, me and him haven't talked the most over the years, so I thought like maybe he would be like, oh no, I don't want to step on Jacob's toes or anything. And then the other thing I was worried about was like, are we just going to talk about the cartel thing the whole day, or the collectors cartel? Let's not say the cartel thing. That could be pretty broad.
The cartel thing. We're going to talk about his drug cartel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it was great, man. He's.
We went so many different
I
avenues
kinda,
with it.
I also talked to him a little bit beforehand, which I guess I didn't tell you about. So him and I kind of did a little recap beforehand just to make sure things would go smoothly, just so we kind of knew what to talk about. So yeah, no, he had no, he was excited. He was ready to go, and he used to be a rapper, so
Yeah.
I don't think he's worried about stepping on anyone's toes.
Joey
at all.
Nibs.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, man.
I thought
yeah.
it was a great episode. I thought it was
great. Give it a listen. But yeah, with that, Jacob, how you doing, man? How's life been ever since? It's been a long time. It's been a whole week.
Life has been so life in general has been pretty good. I've been watching Lost, which is an incredible show. I've heard a couple people, nobody I know has watched it. Weird.
I've not watched it.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it's like one of the greatest shows of all time, but nobody I know has watched it.
Well, it was from the 2000s, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like, I remember
but it's been
it was
on
on
Netflix
a while
forever.
ago. Yeah. Yeah.
But nobody I know has like watched it all the way through, and the couple people that I have talked to about it like heard the ending is terrible. So I'm like, man, dude, like, but this is one thing I'll say, and I think I might have said it on the show before. TV shows that end badly are good TV shows. Like, all my favorite TV shows ended poorly. How I Met Your Mother, terrible ending, terrible ending. I don't know if you've seen that show all the way through. Or even
I've not seen it all the way through.
Terrible ending, absolutely, probably like the worst ending in TV show history. Prison Break, really bad ending. There's other ones that just don't come. Oh, Dexter, horrible
You know what?
ending.
I'm probably never going to watch How I Met Your Mother. Why don't you just spoil the ending for me? Because I know the premise of the show.
All right,
And
I will spoil it. And I'm
ahead.
going into detail.
Go
So
into
anybody
detail.
who watches the show or is like currently watching it for the first time, just skip ahead like to the end of the show because I'm going to be talking about it the rest of the time. Anyway, so How I Met Your Mother. It's, obviously the show about how Ted he's pretty much the main character just because of what the basis of the show is, but they're all really the main character.
And that's Bob Saget's voiceover, right? Ted is the
Maybe.
main guy. That's who Bob Saget's voicing, narrating.
Probably, I would assume so because you say that. So yeah, there's someone doing a voiceover all the time. He's essentially telling the moral of the story is like he is telling his children about how he met their mother. So he's telling them this big long
And it's not
story.
just someone; it's Bob Saget.
Bob Saget is telling his children the story of how he met their mother. And he's going like very elaborate into it. Like he's not starting off with, oh yeah, you know, we met at this event and you know I was scared to talk to. No, he's going all the way from the jump. Like, hey, when did I decide I wanted to find a wife? So he starts from the jump. There's 9 seasons to the show. The whole time you're thinking, oh, this chick that he's dating, that's gonna be the one. That's gonna be the mother of his kids. And at the end of season 8, they're the two of his good friends in the show, Robin and Barney, are getting married. So he's about to be like the fifth wheel in this married couple friendship. So like what are their names? Lily and Marshall are married. They get married in like season 1 or season 2. No, it's season 3. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And then Barney and Robin get married in season 9. So, but they get engaged in season 8. Well, Robin and Ted in the very first episode, like it's called How I Met Your Mother, and Robin and Ted in the very first episode, like Ted sees her and it's like, oh, I gotta talk to that girl. So Ted goes over, they start talking. He's making, you know, moves that are trying to get her to date him. She won't date him. And then at the end of season 1, they start dating. They date all throughout season 2. Season 2 comes back. Him and Robin break up. Marshall and Lily get back together. They get married. Season 8 comes along. At the end of season 8, very last episode of season 8, everyone's going to the wedding. And the very ending scene of it, this lady's checking in, like getting a train ticket up to wherever they're getting married at, and that's the mom. That's the mom of the kids.
Random chick?
Random chick. You haven't seen her the entire show. She's not been in the entire series. Random chick. She plays bass in a band. Like she checks all Ted's weird boxes because he's kind of a weird guy. And then she's in all of season 9. And everybody in the group actually forms this connection with her. Like she just randomly meets every person in the friend group before she meets Ted and makes a connection with him, and everybody like loves her. Everybody in the friend group loves her. And then Ted's actually going to be moving to Chicago. Like in season 9, he's like, yeah, no, I'm moving to Chicago. I'm still in love with Robin. I can't see her, you know, being married to my best friend. Like I can't live in New York City anymore. I got to move to Chicago. So that's what happens in that season. And then towards the end of the season, like the last 2 episodes are a combined episode. So that episode, the day after the wedding, he's supposed to be moving right after the wedding. Like right after the wedding, he's out. He's dipping. He's moving to Chicago. He's done. So then right after the wedding, they'll hang out at this bar. They're regulars at this bar. And he's there at the bar. So the Lily and Marshall are like, what the heck? You're supposed to be in Chicago. Why aren't you moving here? He goes, oh, I met a girl. And they're like, who'd you meet? And he's like, oh, she's a bass player in the band. And they're like, and like Marshall's mad, bro. Like he's like, no, Ted, like you've been over this like a million times. Like you fall in love with these girls. You fall way too fast. You get your heart broken every time. I'm tired of consoling you, dude. Like you need a fresh start. And then he goes, oh, it's the bass player from the band. And they're like, oh my gosh, we love her. Yes, date her. So then, you know, it keeps going. They show some of her and Ted being together and everything. This is the last episode. Last episode is when you see her and Ted together. Last freaking episode of the show called How I Met Your Mother is when you finally see man and mother being together. And then it takes them 8 years to get married, by the way. They get engaged after like a year of dating. It takes them 8 years to actually have a wedding. Because when they were going to get married, she was pregnant, so they postponed it. Then she got pregnant again, so they postponed it again. And then they finally get married. Like 2 years after they get married, you're not going to see this coming. She dies.
All right.
Oh, it's not over.
Oh,
it's
my
not
gosh.
over.
Wait, I'm still confused,
Okay.
bro. It doesn't matter, though. It doesn't matter. Keep going.
What are you confused about? Because I'll wrap up the
I
part
thought
that
you
really
said the
pissed me off.
last. I thought you said the
maybe
last
not.
episode of season 8. It shows that's his mother. That's How I Met Your Mother.
That's you see this girl. So like the last episode.
But you don't know that she's the mother yet in season 8.
Not technically, but you do, just based
And
on
then in
like the
season
context
9,
clues.
season 9 is the final season,
Yeah.
and it ends with her dying.
Yeah, it ends with her dying. In the last episode, you find out that she's been dead for 2 years. Yep.
Okay, and then that's it.
And then so he finishes off the story, right? Because he's narrating the whole thing. So he finishes off the story. He said, "And that, kids, is how I met your mother." And then it cuts back to the kids. And remind you, they filmed all the scenes with the kids at the very start of the show, so they could play them throughout the whole thing.
I remember
So
that.
like these kids weren't in the show. Like they weren't actually filming every single season. They filmed season 1. That's it. They got all their filming bits done in season 1. So then it cuts to the daughter saying, "Nope, I don't buy it. That's not why you told us this story." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "You told us this story because you totally have the hots for Aunt Robin." Oh, also in the last episode, Robin and Barney get divorced. They're not together anymore. So daughter says, you told us this story because you totally have the hots for Aunt Robin still. And they go, "Oh, we've seen the way you look at her when she comes over for dinner, yada, yada, yada. You want to know if we're okay with you going after Aunt Robin." And they were like, "Dad, it's been 2 years. It's time to move on." So the very last scene of the show, very, very, very last scene of the show, like there's this blue French horn that he got her on like their first date. He goes back, steals the blue French horn again, goes up to her window, holds it out at the window, and that's it. End of the show. Terrible. How I Met Your Mother? Guess what?
Man?
Your mother's dead.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Horrible, bro. I was so upset.
Yeah, I'm really glad you told me that, though, because now I don't have to watch that show. Everyone's like, watch it. And I'm sure it was
It's a good show. I mean,
I'm sure it is, but I like Friends, and I didn't need to watch another Friends.
That very, very similar to Friends. I'm not gonna lie.
I love Friends. Friends had an amazing ending, though. Great ending.
I don't remember the ending of Friends, but I've seen it twice.
Well, I'll tell you how this will be. I'll do it quickly. The ending of Friends is Rachel doesn't get on the plane. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember that.
Okay, so back to Lost. You were talking about Lost.
Yeah.
And then we got Lost because How I Met Your Mother ended poorly.
Yeah, it did.
So you're watching Lost. You're watching these shows.
Dexter
from the
becomes a lumberjack.
2000s. Dexter is in Lost, like Dexter, the
No.
serial killer.
Yeah, no. Dexter, the serial killer, becomes a lumberjack. That's how that one ends.
Oh, and they're bringing him back. I heard.
Yeah, sort of.
They're bringing him back.
They brought him back
Dang.
for a new season, and then now they're kind of rebooting it. It's actually the guy who plays Dexter is Barney from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, interesting.
So it's supposed to be like him older. Still being a serial killer.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yep, Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah.
He is a beast.
He's so funny. Best
Yeah,
part of How I Met
he's-
Your Mother was Neil
yeah.
Patrick Harris. He's so funny.
Yeah, he's gay.
Yeah, he is.
So the
So are we.
so the Pacers lost, by the way.
They did in fact lose. Which
How are you feeling about that, by the way? I was curious about your take on that. I know you were a big
Just want to say I finally called it.
called what?
That they were going to lose. That's the first time I was right. In all the predictions we've done for the NBA playoffs, that's the first time I was right.
But didn't you say they were going to get swept?
Did I?
I think you said they were going to get swept.
Well,
Or
they
it's gonna be
lost. They
easy
didn't
work.
win.
But they lost. Did you see what happened at the beginning of Game 7?
Yeah, Tyrese tore his Achilles.
Dude, that was so sad, man.
That's heartbreaking, dude. And honestly, like, they didn't lose by enough for me to be like, hey, if Tyrese is in that game, like, they win. I think that if Tyrese doesn't tear his Achilles, like, I think.
It's pretty close.
But it's like, wasn't it sort of like
They
the
were
same
hanging in
exact
there.
thing that happened to KD? Like, he's having all of this calf problems. Like, I mean, but again, it's the NBA Finals. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's why it's not next. Look, the OKC Thunder won. Injuries are part of the game, right? And so, we as Cavs fans, like when we lost Kyrie in Game 1, and we lost Kevin Love the series before that in 2015. We can cry about it all we want, but we lost that final series, and
Also, it just made 2016 even juicier.
it made it even juicier, even better. Now the thing is, I don't know if the Pacers are going to make it back to the finals.
No.
But especially if Halliburton's going to be out for a year. Is an Achilles not a year-long
Achilles is a long
injury?
recovery, yeah.
So they're not going to be back next year.
No, I don't think so.
maybe
Although Rodgers
the
went pretty
following.
quick. Rodgers, like, tore his Achilles first game. Yeah, I guess it was about a year, yeah.
Yeah. It's sad. But anyway, shout out to OKC. Congratulations. I did see they had a pretty embarrassing parade. Are you kidding me? I know it's not that big of a town.
Let's give
but,
him some
like,
grace. Let's give him some grace.
No.
They had
Why
a
would we-
terrible parade to our standards.
To any bro, if they were such a big OKC Thunder town, like they act like they are, I mean, there were more people at Game 7 than there were at the parade. Let's see their their population. Excuse me. Let's see their population compared to Cleveland. KC population compared to Cleveland. Now I know it's smaller, but I want to see how much smaller. Okay. OKC. Oh.
It's not.
Oh no, that's not good news at all.
It's not smaller.
The actual urban area of Oklahoma City, in other words, that means if you have an actual Oklahoma City address, it says it is around 700,000 people. Okay, Cleveland, it's saying in the urban area, right? 360,000 people. So OKC technically is much larger in Cleveland in terms of people actually living within the city limits. However, the metro area, like the metropolitan area surrounding population, Cleveland's metro area is significantly larger than OKC's, thanks to the surrounding suburbs and nearby cities. That's fair, okay?
Does
However,
it say if Akron is included, like technically like a nearby suburb? I would assume not. We're like 40 minutes away.
it might still be included, though. Let me see. Cleveland, oh, nope, not Summit County. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, so Cleveland
Okay.
Metropolitan Statistical Area is Cuyahoga County, Ashtabula, Geauga, Lake, Lorain, Medina, and Portage counties.
So not Summit?
So Akron is not part of Cleveland MSA.
Wow.
That would be the Summit and Portage counties are Akron. So Akron would be included in that.
Wow.
Now, but if you combine the two, if you were to combine the Cleveland, Akron, Canton combined statistical area, it'd be around 4 million people total. So yeah, but that being said, even outside the metropolitan area, you got people coming into Cleveland because that's how special this day was. There's just no excuse. I mean, it doesn't have to be 1.5 million people like the Cleveland Parade was, but dude, it didn't look crowded at all. We could have like done a couple laps and still got the best parking spot.
I mean, but wasn't the Cubs parade pretty lackluster when they beat us in 2016?
No, it was huge.
Was it?
It was giant. It was ginormous.
Oh.
Yeah, but they have a whole town based off the Cubs. It was pretty big. Those
Why
are
is
probably the two biggest parades, honestly, the Cubs and the Cavs in the same year.
Why is Chicago not dominant in sports? I don't understand. Or I mean, I guess New York's also not super dominant in sports, but like, how? It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, the Blackhawks are typically a really good team. They've won multiple championships. The Bulls
Bro,
are
the Blackhawks haven't been good since I was in high school. I started following hockey.
Yeah, but they had multiple championships then. They had like 3
Yeah.
championships. I mean, that wasn't too long ago. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess
I
do you
guess
mean
that's
like
fair.
in the last 5 years or what?
Well, I mean, so like the Blackhawks, sure, but that's like the least watched sport in America, even after soccer, bro. Like MLS gets more numbers than the NHL. So like, of the team, like the White Sox were the worst team in MLB history last year. I mean, sure, they're going to be beaten by the Rockies this year, but like,
Dude, the White Sox, I don't know. They get good players. I don't know. They're just cursed. They're bad even when they spend a lot of money and get good players and have good coaches. I don't know what the deal is with the White Sox. But the Cubs, hit or miss. I mean, I think at the end of the day, Chicago is still the Midwest, you know?
True.
And so it's like if you have the opportunity to sign a contract in Chicago or, you know, Los Angeles or Miami or New York, like these coastal cities where there's beaches and other attractions, and you're like a star player, then like you're probably still going to go to one of the coastal cities. That being said, you know, I also think sports are getting more competitive, and the big markets are not dominating the way they used to. Now, baseball, LA and New York right now, yeah, it's looking like they are dominating still. But if you look at the
but there's
playoffs,
no
the way
cap
it's
in
shaped
baseball
up,
too.
yeah, exactly. But also, if you look at how things shaped up last year, you had the Minnesota Twins and the Cleveland Guardians and the Detroit Tigers. Excuse me, I think it was the Royals, not the Twins. Was it either the Twins or the Royals went against the Yankees? So you had 3 AL Central, 3 Midwest teams, 3 small market teams in the playoffs in the AL, and then in the NL. You know, LA just kind of dominated because they were that good. You had LA, New York, San Diego. You had the bigger markets over
The
there.
Dodgers
but
won last year, didn't they?
They did. They won it pretty easily.
What was it,
Very
6 or
easily.
5?
Ohtani in 5.
Dang.
Yeah, they spanked the Yankees, which was nice to watch. Um, but yeah,
Lives in New
I
York
mean,
City, bro. Yankees hater.
oh, the Yankees are the worst fans ever, and
He's a
so are
Mets
Knicks
fan,
fans.
guys.
I'll root for the Mets, and I'll root for the Nets. I'll even root for the Jets,
What about the
but
Knicks?
I'm not gonna root for the Knicks. Not gonna root for the Yankees.
Okay. What about the
Yep, those are the
Giants?
two. I'm cool with the Giants. They saved us from watching Tom Brady win 10 Super Bowls.
That's
Eli
true.
Manning. Eli Manning had 2 Super Bowl performances where he was just the GOAT.
Dude, imagine that, bro. Tom Brady with 9 Super Bowl rings. Like, that'd be insane, dude.
It would be absolutely
Like, he's almost
incredible.
he would almost have double-digit Super Bowl rings if he wouldn't have lost those 2.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he would have completed a perfect season.
Yeah. Would have been yeah, he did that catch. I remember that's one of the most
The helmet
memorable
catch.
Super Bowls of all time. That
Yeah.
David Tyree catch. There's like a meme. There was like a meme, well, not a meme, but like they did like a video. It was on like Kimmel or something or Conan where he caught the ball and they looked and there was gum on his helmet and that's what stuck the ball to his head and saved it from going back. Wild stuff, man. And I don't know. I mean, Tom Brady, man, is there gonna be someone to replace him? Is Mahomes going to be greater than Tom Brady?
He's the only guy that has a shot. The only guy that has a shot, I think.
yeah,
I mean, he's already
now,
got,
for
what,
sure.
3? 4? 3?
I want to say 3. He's been to 5, right?
I mean,
He
it's
lost-
basically the same thing as Tom. Tom won 2 in a row, lost 1, went back, won it again, didn't go back
Yeah.
for a while, and then was kind of like every other year after that. I feel
Yeah,
like
and
his is gonna be the same thing.
Yeah, and you know, he's only 29 years old. He's my age. Well, I'm 28 for another day, but he is my age. So, yeah, we're the same age, and he's far greater.
There was a
I will
minute there
ever
that
be.
stuff would make me sad, like thinking about like these NBA players and NFL players that are like doing it, being like, man, they're my age, bro. That could be me. But I just kind of accepted it.
Yeah, they can't take naps.
They can't.
I'm about to take a nap after this.
I'm not. I got too much stuff to do. But I would
I mean,
love
I
to.
do too, bro, but I'm going to take a nap. 20-minute power nap, that's what I need.
See, I can't take a 20-minute power nap. If I'm napping, it's like hour, 2 hours.
No,
Minimum.
that's not a nap anymore. That can ruin your day.
That's what I'm
No,
saying.
You can take. No, I set 20-minute timers. Dude,
Actually,
those
no,
power
you're
naps
right.
are insane.
I
Power
went to the
naps are
wing
really
after
good.
work yesterday and then had to play soccer, and I came home and took a 20-minute nap.
Yeah, 20-minute power nap. You wake up. At first, you're like, oh, I want to stay. And then you stand up and you're like, all right, I'm energized. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of soccer,
Yeah.
though, your boy's body is falling apart for being the guy that preaches health and wellness. The health and wellness is not going real well. I can tell you that. Got shin splints so bad. I've had them for like a month and a half now. And I asked my my doctor / physical therapist / psychiatrist / just general advisor, ChatGPT, how to get rid of shin splints, and it said number one thing it said was rest, which is my least favorite word. So I think I'm gonna have to stop playing soccer for a little bit. I'm still gonna go to some of the games because on Mondays I'm there every week. That's my team. I run that team. It's my team. I'm going. But yeah, the other games I don't know that I'll be at. Cause yeah, I gotta get right, dude. So like Monday I played, felt completely fine. Had like 4 assists, was playing out of my. I mean, wasn't playing out of my mind. Other than the 4 assists, like I had a very lackluster game. But yesterday, so bad, dude, so bad. I couldn't do anything yesterday. They were cramping so bad that like
what is a shin splint?
it feels like your calves are like swollen so much that they're crushing your shin bones. It is very painful.
Oh,
Yeah, and I'm not enjoying it, and it was to the point where I could like really play through it, and I didn't really feel like it was hindering my performance very much. But then last night I was like, dude, I can't do anything. Like I can't run very fast. Like this dude played me a through ball. Typically, I'm probably like the second or third fastest guy on the field. Last night I felt like I was one of the slowest guys on the field because I just could not run. Like I was in so much pain running. And also like I'm one of those guys that like I'm not gonna take a sub unless you ask me to. Like if you ask me to come off, I'll come off because I know we're all paying the same price. Like we get our everyone can get their PT, but if you're not going to ask me to take a sub, I'm not taking one.
Right.
So, I mean, I will at the beginning of the game because for whatever reason I don't warm up. So then, like, after I get going, like, I'll get gassed a little bit, take a sub, come back on, want to play the rest of the game. But yesterday I was like, I took like 3 subs, bro. I had probably only played 20 minutes because I was in so much pain.
Bro,
it was terrible.
That's tough, man. That is terrible.
And I'm getting fat. Like it's
why is that happening now? We got to do something about that.
I don't know.
We got to do something about that. What do you mean you don't know? What are you eating?
I'm not eating.
What's going on there?
So I have been dieting the past couple of weeks. Didn't lose any weight. Gained 2 pounds.
What do you mean dieting? Why are you dieting?
Because I'm fat.
No, but what do you mean by dieting, though?
Like eating good meals. So like I started meal prepping. So for lunch I'm eating high protein chili mac, high protein pasta, lots of ground beef, beans, some peppers, put some cheese in there, low fat. It's very macro friendly. My dietitian gave me that one. ChatGPT made that recipe for me.
Okay. How many calories? What
370 calories.
Wait, no. What is ChatGPT saying your daily calorie intake should be if you're trying to lean out?
I didn't ask ChatGPT that question because I know that I should probably eat. I burn about roughly 2,000 calories. Maybe sometimes it's more, maybe sometimes it's less. I would argue it's probably never less with just the amount of movement and activity I do. I'd argue it's probably almost never less. But I'm not eating more than that. And I'm still gaining weight.
Interesting.
I also did start taking those creatine gummies. So like I could be just hanging on to a little bit more water, and that's why the weight loss isn't happening right now. But they also say that it takes about a month if you're only taking 5 grams a day for creatine to fully saturate your muscles. So like I shouldn't be holding on to more water yet.
Yeah, I also think too, like I think it's way more about the aesthetic than it is about the weight. Right? Like if you can see, like if you're gaining muscle burning fat. Out. Okay. Well, if you're if you're in a caloric deficit, as long as you're hitting your protein, then you should be leaning out a little bit. Like if you're actually, because it's all about the caloric deficit.
That's what's really frustrating. Because last week I was at a caloric deficit all week. I was very strict last week. Was at a caloric deficit all week. And so here, I mean, I'll give myself a little bit of grace. I did weigh myself after I had eaten. So like it could be that, I had drinking, I had eaten. So like that's why I was a little heavier. But still, I think that it should have been about the same as it was the week before after I've eaten, not up 2 pounds. So like if I actually tracked well and was exercising and did all these things, like I was at a caloric deficit, I did exercise last week. Like last week I was actually working out, was staying strict about everything, and still ended up being 2 pounds heavier again after a meal. But I don't really feel like that justifies the 2 pounds. Maybe it does. Someone who is more educated than me can tell me. But yeah, I didn't feel like it justified. And it's like, I'm with you. The science says I should be losing weight. Science says, it should be down there. Problem is I also don't have a scale. So I weigh myself at my mom's house on Sundays. So it's only once a week. So I'm going to buy a scale off of MacBid and just start weighing myself in the mornings and tracking it that way.
Sure. Yeah, no, I hear you, man. It is, there's a lot to it, but you can simplify it. And I've actually been leaning out quite a bit lately. And one of the things I will say that has been helpful for me, I was actually, I was not eating enough. And that's part of the reason why I was actually gaining a little bit of fat, which is so weird. It's like if you don't, it's weird if you like have these big spurts where I had like 2 big meals, but it wasn't high in protein and I wasn't having a ton of calories, you could still gain like fat. It's so strange. But it's also because the way that the macros work, so I've been encouraged, and that Mike Smith actually helped me with this. I've been encouraged to keep the protein high and keep the fats a little higher too and the carbs down, because the way the body stores carbs and burns fat. I don't know enough about that science there. Maybe actually he'd be a great guest to have on to talk about health and fitness and the body and everything, because that dude's all natural and has been for 50-something years now. And so But so ever since I've kind of been following that model where I'm trying to get 150 grams of protein in a day, trying to get around like 80 to 90 grams of fat a day, but keep my carbs under 200, and then my caloric deficit being there as well. I've been leaning out, and it's been great.
Honestly,
but
now as soon as you say that, like, I'm like, yeah,
when you
that's,
say
that's
pasta,
probably what I'm doing.
when you say pasta, I'm like, the pasta has a lot of carbs that can, even if it's high in protein, can sometimes, it's easy to overeat pasta. And a lot of dietitians, or a lot of like fitness people will say cut the pasta or smaller portions of the pasta because you can really overeat pasta and overdo the carbs and everything.
Yeah.
And it sits in it's harder to digest, all these things. But it's so good and easy to make.
So one, I'm meal prepping it. So it's like I'm making it all at one time. I'm not overeating the pasta. I'm definitely not overeating carbs because both of my meals, like the chili mac is way more ground beef. Like there's not a ton of pasta in it. And then I do chicken and rice, which is way more chicken than rice. Like I have to.
And you're getting that lean ground beef. You're getting that lean, like 90% lean, 93%. That's probably part of the issue. That's
I think the issue is I'm not eating enough.
It could be that too.
Because when you go from eating excess calories and then drastically dropping those calories, your body starts to think it's starving, so it wants to hold on to fat. It's like genuinely, as soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, you know what? That's what it is. That's what it is. I'm not eating enough.
It is crazy.
I mean, but yeah, it's crazy. But your body's so smart, dude. Like your body's so smart. Like because like watching Lost. Like, these guys are probably eating excess of 2,000 calories a day. And then they go from eating 2,000 calories a day to almost none.
Right.
Their body's going to hang on to that fat because it needs that stuff as energy, as insulation, as, as all this different stuff that it can actually help you with. Like, they say, they say you should not be under, like, if you're just an average male like me and you, we should not ever get under 15% body fat. There's no reason for us to get under 15% body fat. For like longevity purposes, like men live longer staying over 15% body fat. Like 15 to 20 is the sweet spot. And then like you can't, most studies, the vast majority of them say you can't even gain muscle if you're under 10. So like if you're under 10% body fat, it's really hard to gain muscle. You have to eat a lot of protein, and you probably got to be supplementing that protein with something else, if you know what I mean. Steroids.
Right.
So like that's why a lot of bodybuilders are super shredded and still gaining muscle because they're taking hormones.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I'm looking at a body fat percentage chart right now to see where I think I would land. And I'd probably say I'm around 20, 22%.
Yeah.
So it looks like, drop. Honestly, 15 looks like the ideal one in all these charts.
Yeah.
Maybe 15 to 20, somewhere in there.
I'm probably
at 25. I'm probably at 25, actually. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell with some of these. Athlean X is usually a pretty good source.
That dude is stupid lean.
Yeah, he's stupid lean. And he's been doing,
he's like 100, bro.
Jeff Cavalier, he's been doing this for a long time.
A long time.
Jeff Cavalier. What a goat, by the way. Like the OG YouTube fitness guy. 49 years old. He'll be 50 this week. Oh, his birthday's 2 days after mine, so he turns 50 on Saturday.
Do you know
Shout out Jeff Cavalier?
Do you know how he made his money? Like that.
He used to be the Mets trainer.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's been
around for a long time. He's very well respected. That's why when people hate on him, I'm like, all right, you can have different opinions. Like, I know there's a lot of different like on certain issues and stuff, but like for the average man that's like just trying to get healthy, lean, learn how to lift, this guy was like the godsend, because it used to just be you have money to have a trainer, or you have money to go to the gym and learn, or like he was literally just one of the first one putting free resources out there.
It used to just be strictly gym bro fitness, strictly gym bro knowledge.
Exactly.
Like if you didn't hear something from one of your gym bros that was bigger than you, you didn't know what to do. And even if that guy was dead wrong, you followed it because he was bigger than you.
Yeah.
And then it was like guys like Athlean X, guys like I don't know if you've ever heard of Jeff Nippard. He's my favorite.
I love him,
bro.
He's amazing.
He's so good, dude.
And
I love Jeff Nippard.
he literally also said that Jeff Cavalier like laid the groundwork for every single fitness influencer on the internet today.
Scott
he was
Herman?
like, you can thank. Yeah.
He's one of the OGs too.
Yeah, he's been around for a minute. There's a guy that I can't remember his name. Never mind, I'll come back to that. But yeah, there's a few guys too where it's like I remember being on my grandma's computer, like a big desktop in like 2010, 11. I'm in high school
with the tower PC thing that you had to.
Yeah. And I'm trying to like figure out how to lift in the gym to get bigger for wrestling in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like Jeff Cavalier and I mean there was one other guy that I'm not remembering his name right now, but Jeff Cavalier all the way, man. He was showing me how to meal prep. I was like, oh, interesting. When I was in college, it was Jeff Cavalier. And then over time, you got the Jeff Nippards, some of these other guys out here. So,
I mean, most of them are just like basic influencers.
Sure.
I mean, so like we got the Jeff Nippards. He's as far like he's in the bodybuilding culture is definitely how I would describe Jeff Nippard, and even Athlean X. Athlean X, I would consider more of a bodybuilding guy. But now, like, there's so many like avenues and branches that it stemmed off from. Like me, I'm big into the athleticism stuff. I want to be able to perform better. I want to be able to play with my kids one day. And like those, like even those guys have to contribute what success they're able to have to like Jeff Nippard. Kind of pretty much starting all of this. Not Jeff Nippard. Jeff Cavalier starting all of this stuff. Like, even though he started with the bodybuilding, fitness wasn't a trend on YouTube until he started getting millions of views. And because he started getting millions of views, people started like asking more and more questions, diving into different rabbit holes, trying to figure out the best and easiest way to stay healthy. What's the most efficient way? How can I get faster? How can I jump higher? How can I, do X, Y, and Z rather than just how can I get bigger muscles? So, all these different avenues of, people out there. And I know a bunch of, like, I can think of a bunch of different ones that aren't just, like, bodybuilding influencers anymore. Like, David Weck, like, he's the rope flow guy. You ever heard of a Bosu ball?
Yeah.
The little half yoga ball dome thing?
I use them.
Yeah, David Weck made that.
Nice.
He's also the guy that does rope flow. He's an absolute genius when it comes to, like, physiology and like how the body should move and being as athletic as possible. Like, absolute genius. There's so much stuff that he says where I'm just like, bro, why did I not think of that? And like there's a clip of him talking about Jesse Owens. Like, Jesse Owens was like was doing like a sprinting clinic thing, and he was like, you want to keep your torso as vertical and what's the other word? Essentially as vertical as possible. Like, you don't want your torso bouncing from side to side. And then he does a video breaking down Jesse Owens running and everything. And he was like, it's crazy to me that he says you don't want your torso moving to side to side. And he wears a cross around his neck. And in his videos, you can see his cross bouncing from side to side. So, like, clearly his body has to be moving from side to side. And then he's breaking down, like, where his head is in correlation to his foot every single time. Head is over the foot. He takes a stride to his right, heads over his right foot. Takes a stride to his left, heads over the left foot. So, like, all of this stuff that David Weck started saying, like, he'll break it down with these super high-level guys, and I'm like, bro, makes so much sense. The GOATA guys, I love the GOATA guys and what they do. They've helped me get out of a ton of body pain. That's how I started looking for the David Wecks and, those other guys. Or like Mark Bell. To me, Mark Bell is, like, nowadays, Mark Bell is, like, the Joe Rogan of fitness podcast. Like, he's the guy who's going to interview anybody about anything and ask them as many questions as he can to try to understand what they do. He's not trying to critique you. He's not trying to get you to become a bodybuilder or a power lifter like he was. He's going to try to figure out what it is that you do, why it's beneficial, and how he can implement it into his stuff. He has so many good questions, and he's had all these guys on. Like, he's had the GOATA guys on. He's had David Weck on. He's had the bodybuilders on. Like, he's had so many really good guys on. Or like something that I do now, I started microdosing exercise. So I thought that would be funny. You didn't laugh.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, wait a second.
Anyway,
okay, that was a joke.
So he had
right.
Corey, I think it's Schlesinger, who used to be the strength coach for the Suns. He had him on the podcast one day, and he was like, we're so busy nowadays. Like, at least me, like, he's the strength coach for the Suns. Like, he's got a lot going on, and he's trying to build businesses, do all this other stuff. He was like, I'm so busy all the time that I can't always get, a solid hour, hour and a half, 2 hours to get a real good workout in. So he was like, I just get it where I can. If I have 15 minutes of downtime, I'm gonna knock out sets of push-ups. I'm gonna do some squats, do some burpees, and then I'm gonna go do my work, do what I gotta do, and then I got another 30 minutes. So I'm gonna knock out a couple more things. So it's like there's all this science that says like, oh yeah, you should train for X amount of time, you should rest X amount, blah 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 blah. But his thing was like, I'm just gonna do more with my body when I can do it. That's something I've kind of started to implement, just because, like, again, I'm getting fat, so I'm trying not to be. So I've started just kind of getting it in where I can. So, like, literally before a podcast, I did like 15 push-ups. Not a lot.
Nice.
Should be able to do more, but I don't do push-ups anymore. I haven't been lifting consistently for probably 2 months. So, like, working my way back up there. Don't want to destroy my shoulders. I know I could have done more than 15. I probably could have knocked out 30, 40, but I don't want to destroy my shoulders. I know if I pushed it that hard, my shoulders will hurt tomorrow. I don't want my shoulders to hurt tomorrow. So I kept it light, just knocking them out where I can, getting that exercise in where I can, burn those calories where I can. And that to me has probably been like one of my favorite things that I've learned, because there was so long there when I was like super in the gym, super into fitness and everything, where I was like, man, my day is ruined if I don't have 2 hours to go to the gym and get a good workout in. And now it's like, oh, I don't even need the 2 hours. Like, I got 15 minutes before we jump on the podcast. Boom, let me knock something out real quick.
Yeah.
And like something like a deep lying motivation of mine for training for the longest time was, I want to be able to protect myself if like a bear comes at me, like, like, sure, I'm going to run from that bear, but like if that bear catches me and I got to fight that bear, I don't want to feel like, boom, dead instantly. I want to feel like, hey, I at least put up a little bit of a fight.
You want to suffer.
Yeah, I want to suffer. Yeah. So like, it's like, what is as primal as possible? It really is like sort of like a deep lying motivation for my health and wellness. And like, if you think about, back in Jesus' day, guys weren't working out for an hour, 2 hours, but they were working all the time. They were, constantly, every day, every second, moving, lifting rocks, building fences for, their farm life, tilling field, doing whatever. Constantly working, constantly moving, constantly doing things. So
yeah, there were gladiators that were lifting for hours a day and doing different things like that. But yeah, the common man didn't have gym access. Like, yeah, weightlifting and different things like that were way more like for like the elite. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, I mean, we don't do nearly as much manual labor today and physical labor as we used to. I mean, even my job is sitting at a desk all day, staring at a computer screen. Now I move around, I have a standing desk, but we're not nearly as physical as we used to be and how we're wired to be. And, but I think you're right. Moving when you can. I mean, dude, I used to be the same way. I used to think I need an hour and a half to 2 hours, 5 days a week in the gym to get a good workout in. Yeah, that was possible in high school and in college. It's not possible now.
Yeah.
And so I go to the gym, not 6 days a week, not 5 days a week, but 3 to 4 days a week. And each of those workouts are about 40 to 50 minutes. Sometimes, if I'm running low on time, only 35 minutes. But I'm in some of the best shape that I've been in years because I am accommodating around my lifestyle and my schedule instead of saying, well, since I can't do it the way that I think it ought to be, it's not going to happen. And so that's been better for me. For me, I am having some complications with my hip that I had surgery on, and it's totally self-inflicted because I did not take physical therapy seriously. I did not strengthen the surrounding muscles, the glutes, the abdominals. I just went right back into the gym after a couple months, and I was like, oh, it should be better now, right? Nope. Now I'm suffering for it. And so I'm back in physical therapy. And, after a couple weeks of physical therapy, I'm already feeling a bit better. I'm taking it way more seriously. But I did learn the lesson that surgery is not a quick fix. In fact, it makes it harder to heal. But once you finally heal, I'm hoping that I'll come back to you once it's finally healed. Then it'll be good to go. But yeah, it's I tell myself because the physical therapy is boring and lame and all this stuff that like, oh, it'll just heal over time and I can just do the other exercises. No, you got to do it. And once I get through this, I'll up the intensity in the gym a little bit more because everything else is starting to feel better. The shoulders are a bit better, the neck's a bit stronger. I've been doing a lot of strengthening, which that looked weird. I looked like a goose. But a lot of weird neck and shoulder stuff I've been doing to really alleviate the pain here, man. But it's not as fun when you're getting older and your body's falling apart. But if you can adjust and adapt to like the phase you're at in life, it's totally worth it to continue moving, staying active, all those things. Because like you said, whether you have kids or you don't, you know, one day you want to be able to play with them when you're older. Or even if you never have kids, you want to be able to you know,
play with
hang
your
out
niece
with
and nephew.
your friends, play with your niece and nephew, hang out with other people's kids that maybe you kidnapped. You know, things
I wouldn't
like
recommend.
you know, just anything really. And that was a joke for anyone that is only listening right now on their Zune.
Zune?
You remember Zune?
No.
It was like an iPad. Well, listen, I have some breaking news, Jacob.
Whoa.
This is breaking. Live on Instagram. Ohio lawmakers have approved the $600 million proposed budget for the Cleveland Browns enclosed stadium in Brook Park, making the move official.
Wow.
They've also agreed on modifications to the infamous, quote, Modell law that would prohibit teams from moving out of their city. The modification now allows teams to move at the end of their stadium lease and effectively ends the city of Cleveland's lawsuit against the Haslam Sports Group. The Haslams will receive the $600 million on February 1st, 2026, when they are expected to break ground on the new stadium. Wow.
I'm excited for that.
Someone commented and said, Brook Park residents, when my half-empty beer can flies through their window at 6:37 a.m. Yeah, man. That's funny.
It's probably going to make commuting to games way easier.
Is it?
I think so, because you're not downtown. Literally at the edge of downtown.
Yeah, it was so much fun having it over there, though.
That's true.
I just hope they get a winning team.
Probably won't, but
Well,
I don't care that much.
you don't care that much. I care a lot. I literally have a Browns mouse pad that I'm recording this on. So, but with that, keep your body active, keep your heart healthy. And one way to keep it healthy is to not have your heart invested in the Cleveland Browns the way that I do.
He's not wrong. I can
Well, this
speak
ended
from
up-
experience.
He can. This ended up being a pretty good one about health and fitness and wellness and all those things. And you know what? We're going to call it now for the future. We're going to have Mr. Michael Smith at some point on this podcast as a guest to talk even more in depth about the body, about weight gain, weight loss, building muscle, aging gracefully and aging actually backwards. He is in better shape now in his 50s than he was in his 30s. And so how is that possible? Stay tuned for whenever we have him on, which could potentially be sooner than later. Well, Jacob, any closing thoughts as we're kind of wrapping this up?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. You know, wore the USA jersey today. Actually got this in New York City when I went to visit Glenn last year.
That's
no
right.
Big deal. But yeah, USA is in the quarterfinals of the Gold Cup right now. So let's hope they can get it done. Let's hope they can win the Gold Cup and take some momentum into the World Cup next year. Also,
Okay.
you can go ahead.
I had a question about that. So how does that work? What's going on? Where do we watch it? And how many games they have to win? What's the Gold Cup? It's not the FIFA World
It's
Cup.
not a FIFA World Cup. It's just some little tournament that they do for teams that aren't that good. So like it's us, Mexico, Canada, Saudi Arabia, Panama, a bunch of like teams that aren't that good. But we're in the quarterfinals.
Iran? Is Iran in it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
maybe possibly.
good. They don't need another beatdown.
Yeah, so we're in the quarterfinals right now. We've been playing pretty well. We don't have some of our star players, which makes it even better. So yeah, they're playing pretty well. Hopefully they can get it done. Also, the Club World Cup, so like the World Cup, but for club teams, so like Real Madrid, those types of guys, that is happening in the United States right now. Absolutely poor attendance, bro. Nobody is filling these stadiums.
Really?
So bad. I mean, to be fair, there's so many games and there's so many teams people haven't heard of in these games.
Yeah.
Like, there's semi-pro teams from other countries playing in the Club World Cup. So it's like, you can't expect everybody to be at every game. But
right.
it's a good time to be a soccer fan in America. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. It's a good time to be an American in general, brother,
That's facts.
if you ask me. Man, we are really, truly in a golden era. And, oh, man, 4th of July is coming up, and I'm excited for our 4th of July episode so we can really express our patriotism for the greatest country on earth.
4th of July episode is going to be strictly politics for everybody out there.
All politics. We're going to talk about
who
the
we
city I'm living
voted
in,
for,
who we didn't vote for,
who we didn't vote for.
Some of us are not registered. I can tell you one thing for sure. I did not vote for that socialist that's about to be my new mayor. I don't know if you've heard about that at all, but it's okay. He's a handsome young fellow, but he's my age, and he wants to run the largest city in the world with no experience. Sounds like a good idea. But that's what happens when you bring a terrible, old, washed-up candidate like Andrew Cuomo. All right, folks, that's it for us. But go ahead and keep it on this channel, and then coming on at 10 Central. You know what's crazy is TV stations, right?
Yeah.
You'd be watching the end of a TV show. They'd be like, stick around for more. Late Night with Conan's up next. Nothing's up next anymore because we consume what we want when we want.
That's facts. Maybe we should start doing that. Start doing like an up next last week's episode.
There we go. Stick around here on Cartoon Network. Coming up next is Foster's Imaginary Home for Kids that are in danger, or I can't remember the name, and Codename Kids Backyard.
Foster's House of Imaginary Friends?
Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends and Codename Kids Next Door is coming up right after Toonami.
I don't remember that one.
All right, that's okay. Justice League's coming up next, folks, right after this episode of Batman the Animated Series, and followed by is Samurai Jack.
You ever got caught in those YouTube rabbit holes where it like tells you the whole series of a cartoon? Like it breaks down the whole thing for you? Bro, there's one.
Send me them right now.
I was going to say
though.
there was one week where I watched like 12 of them. I watched
every
cartoon I don't remember finishing, finished them through that.
During
Codename The
my
Kids Next
nap-
Door.
During my nap, I'm going to go do that right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Half Brothers Podcast. My name is Glenn.
My name is also Glenn.
Until next time, thank you. Have a nice day, and keep smiling. Stick around. Coming up next is Late Night with Conan.
Free promo. We'd love to see it.